It's Ron Brown with Tech for Seniors. Let's go for a little ride on my e-bike as we take a tour around Comox, British Columbia on Vancouver Island where I live. I'm going to show you my new e-bike. This is my bike. It's called a Volt 750, and you can see cameras 1 and 2 are mounted on the front and camera 3 on the rear. Let's have a look at this and I'll show you how I've put it together. Now, before we talk about my bike, there are many different types of e-bikes that you can purchase. And if you read our Tech for Senior Facebook page today, you will realize that Harley Davidson's stunning vintage-inspired electric bikes are going on sale later this year. Harley Davidson said it would only make 650 units, half of which would be available in the United States. Very beautiful bike. Also, BMW and Cube bicycles plan an urban mobility takeover with the Concept Dynamic Cargo e-bike. This is going to be really interesting. Makes it easy for bringing the groceries home. And this was just announced. Fedex is launching new e-bikes in Mississauga and Oakville, Ontario, as part of the company's mission to achieve carbon neutrality. By 2040, Fedex announced they will be implementing e-bikes in certain urban settings, including 6 in Toronto and 2 in Mississauga and Oakville. Pretty interesting. So there is an e-bike for you. Doesn't matter how well you ride or the age you are, e-bikes are amazing. So this is my e-bike. It's called a Volt bike, V-O-L-T bike, and the model is Yukon 750 Limited. I purchased it in June of last year, and the cost was $2,149 Canadian. Now, how is this powered? You all want to know how far it will go and how fast. Now, the power. There's 750 watts of peak power. This is powered by the Bafang motor, which is the world's largest manufacturer of hub motors for e-bikes. The Volt bike Yukon 750 is using a Bafang G06 series motor that will give 700 watts of power. Now, the top speed of this is around 32 kilometers an hour, which I think is probably around 20 miles an hour, but don't tell anybody. But I've had it up to 30 miles an hour, and it's still got power left in it. So this thing goes like stink. Now, the Volt bike has a battery in it. This is made by Samsung. Now, the Volt bike Yukon 750 is using a Samsung battery. This is a 48 volt battery and can get about 60 to 80 kilometers or about 50 miles for a charge. Now, the brakes on this bike are made by a company called Tektro, and they are hydraulic. The tires on this bike are very large. You're probably wondering what the heck is going on here. These are fat tire puncture resistant tires. Now, the interesting thing about this was when I got the bike, it was all supposed to be checked out, and I assumed it would have air in the tires. So I rode it for 2 months and I thought it had a great ride, but it was a soft ride. I was bouncing along as I rode the bike. Well, when I checked the tire pressure, ultimately there was no air in the tires. So these tires are meant to be either you can have from 0 to 30 pounds of pressure in these tires. I'm currently keeping it about 20 pounds. They are punctureless, and if you did lose air in the tires, you could ride home, as I did for 2 months. The controls for this are simple controls. Their redesigned cockpit includes large, easy-to-read LCD screen, which shows the all-important information, which includes speed, battery level, and current load. Get instant power with the integrated half-twist throttle, which is on the right side, and an on and off button which helps prevent accidental activation. The problem with the handlebar on this bike, there's not a lot of real estate to put things on. You have your throttle controls, your LCD screen, and a bell. So I purchased a handlebar extender which allows me to put the two cameras that you see on the top. Now, the other camera that you saw on the top of the handlebar is called a Kaiser Bass X600. I experimented around with my cell phone and found that the image stabilization just wasn't good enough for the jostling around on my bike. So I didn't want to buy a GoPro camera, too expensive, so I bought the Kaiser Bass X600. This is mostly sold in Europe and in Australia, not sold much in the United States, but it gets very good reviews, and I've been very happy with the results. It does shoot in 4K and has a very good image stabilization. The cost was around $180, and this simply mounts, as you saw, on my front handlebars. Now, on the back of the bike, you'll see I have a DJI Mini Camera. Now, this is so I can get different shots from either directly behind me or looking back at me. This camera is image stabilized and is on a gimbal, and it's called the DJI Mini. And this has provided some very interesting shots, and it either can give me forward or rear facing shots. This is the DJI Pocket. I purchased it for $349 Canadian. Today it is on Amazon. In Canadian price is around $460. Well, we're home from the ride. That was my Volt 750 e-bike. Remember to like and subscribe, and until we see again, have a great day. Ron Brown with Tech for Seniors.